Staff and heroes. Definitely one of the most important aspects of the game in a way. I mean, originally it started off with heroes, but I ended up adding all the staff that you see in the game, and obviously they make a world of difference. So there are 4 slots for staff for the time being. Those are head diplomat, which by default will always be a man named Old Kroll. Spy master, which is currently unoccupied. Court jester. High general, which by default is a man named Gorin Pikener. And 5 empty slots for champions. So we'll start off with the diplomat, Old Kroll. So this is his beautiful face. So you see his wage is 50 and his skill is 50. So I have a few options. I can train him, which costs 75 gold. It varies, I believe, per person based on their skill and their wages. I can fire him, and I can view diplomatic relations. So I can view how each faction views other factions. It's a pretty cool feature of diplomats, but that is not their main feature. The most important part of a diplomat is being able to access diplomatic actions and interact with other territories. So with a diplomat at hand, you can speak to independent nations, you can speak to the rebels, and unfortunately, as you see, his skill is not high enough for me to speak to minor goblin clans or bandit clans. So I'm going to fire Old Kroll. I could train him, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to fire him. So now you see that there is an open slot there, so I'm going to go back. And as you try to hire a new member of staff, you always get a choice between 3. 3 potential head diplomats are sent to your court. You may speak to each of them and learn of their skills and talents. So right now you can't see any information on them other than their names. You have to look at each one of them. Each of them has a randomly generated speech on why you should hire them. This one, for example: hello, I am the one named Vort the Headstrong. I have assisted those I serve in every realm and aspect of diplomacy. I promised my mother I would serve you. I request a payment of 146 gold per season. So now that we've viewed Vort, we can see how much he costs and how skilled he is. Now we can go to Elfire the Goblin. I am Elfire the Goblin. I want you to help the king and convince their enemies to war with each other. It would be a supreme honor to serve at your side. So he's demanding a higher pay with a lower skill level. So if you're sensible, you would always go for Vort over Elfire. And finally, Rigmar the Noble. And Rigmar has an even more expensive cost and an even lower skill. I suspect it's to do with the suffix, the suffix noble, which makes them far more expensive. So we're going to go for Vort the Headstrong. We're going to hire him. And now if we go back, we see we've got Vort the Headstrong. I can train him, which I'm going to do. It costs a lot more than it costs to train Old Kroll because he's obviously more skilled. So Diplomat's currently undergoing training. Now if we go to the diplomacy screen, you can notice we can now speak with minor goblin clans and bandit groups, which we obviously couldn't before with Old Kroll due to his lack of skill in the area of diplomacy. So the second position is Spy Master. So we need to hire one fresh. So, greetings, I'm Glaethir the Wrathful. I'm a Grand Master in the art of spying and have travelled 3 days to serve you. So let's skip through that. Okay, so Glaethir is definitely the best for the job. So Spy Masters, they have a lot more skill-based ability, so he'll be able to do a lot more with his skills. So you can ask him what he's able to do based on his skill. When he reaches 250 in skill, he'll be able to show you the financial earnings of all the other factions. So I can train him. I can ask him that to give me more detailed or less detailed spy reports. So I'm going to ask him to give me more detailed spy reports for now, and I'll show you what that looks like, and then we'll show you what happens when we say we don't want any spy reports at all. Next stop is Jesters. Now, Jesters are one of my favourite members of staff. They currently have no bearing other than to entertain you, so they don't cost as much. Now, the skill level does factor in here based on the level of jokes they can tell. So there are 5 joke levels. I can't remember the threshold exactly, but there tend to be more jokes at level 1. But if a jester had the ability to access level 4 jokes, they'll also be able to access level 1, 2, and 3s. And a joker who can access level 5 jokes will be able to access all of them. So all of these are pretty actually high skilled. We're going to go for Dargo the Beloved. I can garner a great laugh and I specialise in orc jokes. Now here's the thing. these staff tend to be more unique, and you have to consider things even more, because staff can specialize in certain kinds of jokes. So for example, this one, he specializes in everything, so he's the best you can ever get. He can tell you jokes, riddles, orc jokes, all kinds. He specializes in non-orc jokes, as you can see, so he will only tell you jokes that don't revolve around orcs, and this guy specializes in orc jokes. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hire all of them separately. So I'm going to hire Durga the Beloved first of all, and let's see. So he only tells orc jokes, so let's ask him one. I wouldn't bother telling an orc a joke because they're too dumb to know you're joking. If ugly were a crime, the entire orcish race would have rotted in dungeons long ago. I wouldn't bother telling an orc joke, they're too dumb to know you're joking, blah blah blah. Two orc hunters riding along the road to go bear hunting. They came upon a fork in the road where a sign read bear left, so they went home. So as you see, it's just orc jokes. If we fire him and we go back, let's hire the guy who tells us non-orc jokes. See what he has to say. My northerner told me a thought crossed his mind once. It must have been a long and lonely journey. Two dwarves walk into tavern and a third dwarf ducked. The ancients were said to be the greatest civilizations ever. Yet they are dead. Good job, ancients. Why should you never ask a dwarf to pay for drinks? Because he's always a little short. So, non-orc jokes. And finally, the guy who specializes in everything. Let's check him out. So, what ranges far and cannot be confined, yet stays all in one spot? The correct one will open this chest. The sea? Okay. Don't quite get that one. And the beginning of the letter E. Okay. What ranges far and cannot be confined, yet stays in one spot? Whoever has it is angry. Whoever loses it is angry. Whoever wins it has no more. Temper. Oh, dispute. Shit. How many dwarves does it take to screw in a light bulb? 3. 1 to hold the bulb, and 2 to drink till the room spins. Okay, so obviously he tells riddles, jokes, orc jokes, all kinds. Finally, High General. Let's have a look at him. So, Goran Pikener, the High General, I mean all High Generals will have the same abilities. He has a lot more he can do right here. So we can ask him to hide dead factions, minor factions, and independent factions. So I'll demo that we'll allow bandit factions, but we're going to hide the independent kingdoms. I can also view my troop count, so I can see how many troops I have. I can view my faction ranking and see where I stand in financial rankings and in the rankings of troops. So as you see, the Grey Empire is pretty much dominating everything. And finally, I can change troop wages, so I can choose how much with a maximum of 5 gold for soldiers and 15 for knights. But when you have a large army, that can be very expensive. So, so that's that. We're going to have a look at staff now. I don't think I have a lot of money, so we're going to go for the lowest, Azan the Rat. And I can't even afford him. 1 second, I'm just going to cheat myself some money, just for the purposes of this demonstration. And let's hire ourselves a big burly champion then. Titanus the Calmed. Let's go for him. We'll get another one. Go for it. So with these champions, they actually fight in battles, and they sort of work as captains of your fights, if you will, which could give you quite a boost, more so than normal units. Also, they can fight in the arena, and they can fight in tournaments and all sorts. So, and they also can assume leadership of your captured areas in the exploration screen. So I'm going to show you a demonstration of all of those things. So first, we're going to go to the north. Actually, no, I'm going to cheat, and we're going to get all the areas unlocked so I can just go and grab one. So let's go to the north, and let's grab Fort Northwatch. We're going to buy the fort. So Fort Northwatch is a bandit fortress complex. Once ruled by Palan the Traitor, and now belongs to you. Currently is unmanned. So I'm going to state a hero. I'm going to unlock the sold in there. Okay, there we go. So done. So now he's in use. Now we're going to go to the arena, and I'm going to run a tournament. I'm going to run a really basic 2-man tourney, and if you notice, is my champion in there? I can't remember what his name was. No idea. Oh well, I don't actually think he was in there. I'm confused. Let's have a look. Titanus the Calm. No, he wasn't put in there. Fair enough. Well, I think maybe it's grand tournaments then. Is what I'm getting confused with. So let's have a look. And you notice as well in the in this screen here, we don't have independent kingdoms anymore because I told General Gorin to block them from appearing in this menu. You can also have him hide dead factions, so when a group is destroyed, they won't appear here anymore. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to attack the light scouts, and I'm going to we're going to evade them, and I'm going to send a bunch of my peasants. But we're also going to send. Would you like to send Titanius to Calmed? Yes. So there you go. So we slaughtered them, and I'm getting attacked by a lot of people. So we should here we go. So this is very clustered now. This is our spy reports. So these are more detailed spy reports. So the rebels enlist 0 soldiers from their 6th land, which makes their total troops 355. So it tells you the total amount of troops they have. And yeah, what a huge report. But I think because of the level of the spy master, you can also by default you'll see all the independent kingdoms and all the bandit groups and how much they recruit as well. So if I ask for less detailed reports now, let's do that. Where are we? Gorin Pikener. So we're going to show independent kingdoms, and we're going to hide bandit groups. And let's what was I doing? Okay, spy master. That was it. Yep. Let's I want less detailed spy reports, and we'll see how that works out now. So here we go. So because of his level as a spy master, we can still see that, whereas normally it goes as far as the Iraq goblins, we can now see how much the independent kingdoms and bandits recruit each turn, which is very handy. Right, and Vlonlock the Sold sends 25 soldiers. So let's move on to our sort of final test here. I don't want any spy reports at the end of the turn, and we're going to train our head diplomat and see how that works. We'll train them all, and I'll show you how that works. So let's go for it. Okay, so we'll skip through all this, and here we go. So diplomat train is increased Fort Headstrong skill by 2. Galathea skill by 3. Okay, so nice one. So all the skills have increased a little bit. So I think the maximum is 3 or 5. I can't remember, and the lowest if possible is obviously 1. And yeah, we don't have spy reports anymore. Spy reports aren't on the menu. So if they're not to your liking, you can completely remove them. No matter how skilled or unskilled your spy master is, you do obviously require a spy master to do so. I believe once you fire your spy master, you need to hire one back if you want to change those abilities. But all in all, that is pretty much it at the moment. So yeah, as it stands, that is staff and heroes in the game. Actually, for a laugh, let's arrange a grand tournament, and I'll show you. We'll hire some new champions. So we got Titanius the Calmed, and we're also going to have Gorman the Thunder Watcher. And let's go back to the arena, and we have to upgrade the arena to the max, and then we're going to run a grand tournament. There we go. So we have Titanius the Calmed and Gorman the Thunder Watcher, both titled as champions of Aslona there, and we also have the grand champion Anarin the Bronze Skull, and then we've got lots of commoners, people from the various nations. And so your champions will appear in the game, and these 2 slots afterwards, Clobber the Putrid, Elsie the Venomous, and Halmar the Unholy, are 3 slots for the remaining 3 champions of Aslona. So you can have a maximum of 5 in the tournament at any one time. And I don't know. Let's see if okay, so Gorman won his fight. And yeah, so Gorman the Thunder Watcher and Titanius the Calmed are both still in the tournament. And Gorman the Thunder Watcher won again. And the same again, they're both still in the tournament. But now they will be fighting against each other, so this will be interesting to see. And Titanius the Calmed wins. And Titanius the Calmed wins again. And Titanius the Calmed wins the tournament. Brilliant. The tournament has come to an end, and by the grace of gods, a new Grand Champion is declared the winner. So if I have a look at the Grand Champion now, he is also currently the holder of a record of the most fights won. He is the Grand Champion of Aslona, and he is my champion. So that's pretty cool. So that is staff. They have many abilities in the game, and obviously there will be more in the future. This video will be updated or replaced as the case may be, when we add future staff such as high mages, slave masters, and things like that. But that was pretty much it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, ask them on Reddit. Thank you very much, and enjoy the game.